Hey there, this is Christy, and I have had quite a bit of problem, lots of issues trying to get this recorded. Usually I can record my presentation in a built-in program in Brightspace called Capture, but I've tried every single thing I can and I cannot get it to work. So this is my last resort. So hopefully this will work. I'll post these slides for you as well. And I just want to sort of get started as with an introduction and kind of some expectations for class. So this is the book that you'll need. Hopefully everybody's got this. It is the 5th edition of Marketing Management. A little bit about me. I was born in Cedar Rapids. I attended Mount Mercy for my undergrad in art. I came back for my MBA in 2012. I worked for Rockwell Collins for 17 years, owned a small business for 5. Currently, I do what I'm doing right now, and I'm also a fitness professional. I like to bike, run, horseback ride, and my husband and I are really into ceramics. We've got a couple of pottery wheels in our basement, so that's kind of our leisure activity. I've got 3 children, all adults. One of them lives in Chicago. The other 2 live in Cedar Rapids. So the overview of this course, we will be taking a managerial approach to solve topics that are related to marketing. You'll be using market research data to make strategic marketing recommendations, to study consumer behavior, and to understand supply and demand. You'll also be developing a final project, which is a marketing plan of your own. We will talk about the importance of marketing decision-making, and we'll follow the framework that's provided in your book. That will help you just sort of move along in the project through the different steps and phases. Throughout the weeks, you'll also participate in discussions. You'll complete some individual assignments that relate to the content of the chapters. And you will also have, like I said, that final project that is a group project. Late work, I just kind of want to touch on that a little bit. See if I can move this thing out of our way. Nope. Late work, the first day that it's late, you'll lose 10%. The second day it's late will be 20%. The third day is 30%, and after that, 0. So we really need to make sure that we can accomplish our goals by turning in our things on time. We only have 5 weeks. We've really got to get our stuff in and be succinct about it. It's not really fair to other people if you're working hard to get meet deadlines and others are not doing the same. So yes, this class is based heavily on a group project. So some of you are probably going, oh no, what have I signed up for? I know it can be challenging. I've been there, I get it. But I think if we all put in our best effort, we can get through this together. It's actually pretty fun once you get going to do this project. And I think a lot of the assignments that go along with it are pretty interesting as well. Office 365 Teams, which is what I'm using right now. This will be your required collaboration space for everything that you do on your final project in your team. So this week, you are to read chapters 1 and 2. You are to complete your introduction video in the discussion area. If you've taken other online classes, you're quite familiar with this. You need to select the product or service that will serve as the foundation of your project. And for that, I'll go into a little bit more detail about what that needs to be in a little bit here. Make sure you review all the assignment instructions so you have an idea of what that final assignment will include and the expectations. You'll have a worksheet for Schofield Honda, and you'll have 2 discussions. You'll have a product that you own and consider the consumer. These are some links. Trying to decide how to do this. I think I can make them live in the file that I send. So these are all out on Brightspace anyway, but I thought it would be nice to have them all in one simple place. But like I said, technology is not my friend today. This is a color-coded sheet of just all of the different parts of the final marketing plan. I've tried to highlight them in different colors based on the sections. So even though executive summary is listed first, that's not the first thing that you'll do. That will actually come near the end. The first thing you'll do is number 2, which is the situational analysis. That's our first big chunk of work, which we'll be tackling in the second week. So chapters 1 and 2, I just want to go quickly over what I think the most important parts are of those 2 chapters. Marketing, what is marketing? It's an exchange relationship, a relationship between a company and its consumers. The company wants something from the consumer and the consumer wants something from the company. So pretty simple. Marketers are trying to figure out what the consumer wants and how to provide it and make a profit, because that's really, in the end, the goal of everyone. Why is it important? Well, the roles of marketers have changed. We live in a customer-oriented and customer-empowered marketing world. So it's much more customer-focused than it used to be. And to make customers happy is what makes companies profitable. And there's a lot of competition. So really putting your best foot forward is important. Who's responsible? Well, everybody's responsible for marketing. You may work in a company where they have a marketing department, and you may think that they're the only ones that are really responsible for it, but they're not. It's not just a function in an organization. It's a philosophy, and it's a way to approach thinking about business. This is the framework I was telling you about. This color-coded chart is really kind of nice to have to just use all the way through the project. It sort of simplifies things down into sections, goes into a little bit more detail. For example, the 5 C's, like I said, is the first sort of main section that we'll be working on. The 5 C's are company, customer, competitor, collaborators, and context. So you will be sort of doing some analysis to come up with answers to other questions. Let me go to the next slide. Let me go back one real quick. Sorry about that. Yeah, something to get a little bit more detailed here. This is where the business person, or actually you as the students, you'll analyze the entire business situation. The company and customer are the central players in the marketing exchange relationship. And the context includes the macro environmental factors, things like what's our economy, like what legal constraints do we face in our marketplace, and what cultural differences do our global segments manifest. So just a few things. And then collaborators and competitors are the companies and people that we work with and those that we compete against. STP, segmentation, targeting, and positioning. So in this section, you will identify particular groups of customers that share similar wants and needs that you will target with your marketing plan. This is how you're going to position yourself to develop relationships with these people. The 4 Ps, you may have heard of this before if you've taken a basic marketing class: product, price, place, and promotion. The marketer is responsible for creating the product or service, pricing it appropriately, advertising it and promoting it, and then placing it for availability for purchase. So if you don't put things in places that people can find them, then it doesn't matter how great your product is, they're not going to be able to purchase them. Again, just another chart to show you the outline of the chapters and what they cover. You may need to jump around in the book a little bit. When I first started teaching this, I followed straight through chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I sort of mixed it all up one time. I thought that was a little bit too confusing. So I've kind of gone back to basically just following through chapter by chapter in order. But you can see here where you may need to jump around to find more information about different things. So just make sure that you kind of pay attention to this diagram and see the weekly readings, what they relate to, and maybe if you need to pick something up in a different chapter. Chapter 2, customer behavior. So we will be focusing on the behaviors of the customers that we're trying to attract. Certain things that we will be talking about. What are the 3 phases of the buying process? What kinds of purchases are there for consumers to even consider? And how do they make purchase decisions? One of our discussions this week is about consumer behavior. So you'll be able to tie that into our learning of this particular subject. The purchasing process. There's 3 major phases that consumers go through when they're making a purchase. There's the pre-purchase, when they identify that something is lacking and that there's a problem that they need to solve. In the purchase phase, the consumer typically is creating a consideration set. So including all of the brands that are potential candidates for purchase, and they're considering what attributes are important to them, what is a must-have versus a nice-to-have. And that final stage is the post-purchase, when consumers start to ask themselves, am I satisfied? Will I buy this again? What did I like? What did I not like? What things are missing? And those types of questions. So another assignment you have this week is choose a product that you own. So be able to think about these phases of the purchase process as you consider some of the things that you have purchased. What motivates consumers? This is something that's really important to understand before you build your plan. You have to understand what motivates people to buy things, what types of problems are out there that may need to be solved. So when you're thinking of the perfect customer, you want to consider maybe if they're purchasing a vehicle. You know, Volvo cars are notoriously known as being safe. So people who are concerned about safety might be more attracted to something like that. Global warming in the environment. If people are more concerned about those types of things, they may be thinking about driving a hybrid. Mercedes tends to be sort of an upper class, a little bit more expensive vehicle. So maybe someone who is very brand oriented, they might be more attracted to something like that. And also, how does our sociocultural differences affect how to market your product? Will you target an age group, or will you target a specific gender? So those are just some things to get you kind of started thinking about what product or service you might want to come up with. So this part of the very first week is coming up with what that product or service is. It needs to be something that doesn't already exist, but it has to be realistic and viable. You need to be able to compare it to other products and services in a certain market. So for example, beauty products, you could come up with something that hasn't been created yet, something that might compete with, you can come up with lots of different brands, Maybelline, L'Oreal, maybe it's a mascara that's just amazing, or that might be a little bit too small of a piece of a pie. You might want to broaden that a little bit, but it could be a whole line of beauty products. A lot of people have done things with pets. Either pet packages that are mailed to pets monthly or something like that. I've had health-related things where people have come up with solutions for, maybe it's telehealth, especially with the times that we're in. Probably a lot of opportunities just because of what we've been going through the last year plus, or ways to reach out to people that are at home. Travel is probably not something that a lot of people are going to be thinking about right now, but as the travel industry starts to come back and pick up, that might be something interesting to start thinking about, that a lot of people are probably going to be very anxious to be able to travel again. So those are just some ideas. One team one year wanted to do teleportation, which is all kind of fun and exciting to think about, but to be able to research technology that doesn't exist yet, and try to compare it to other companies that may be doing similar things would be really challenging. So really try to keep it realistic, but make it fun, be creative, and come up with something this week. Also, it would be great if you could select a team leader. That team leader is not someone who does more work than anybody else, but they're just the one that is responsible for getting the team, to keep the team on track and to get assignments turned in for the team. So try to get those things done for the week. Again, I hope by next week I'll have the right tools going and I'll be able to present this the way I wanted to, but this is the best I got right now. So you'll be able to find these slides on week 1. I'll put them right on the main page of that module for week 1. And let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much. And I look forward to going through this class with you.